Tomajko on Esper Super Friends, the other Planeswalker deck here, which we've noticed this tournament has had a pretty good matchup against the Jeskai counterpart.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen this aggro deck just kind of able to go out the gates and close things out before they can snowball any sort of advantage.
See how well Oliver deals, though, with the aggression of Alex Watt's mono red deck. Starts out with Thought Erasure. Seeing the hand, we see a second G2 Lava Runner, a Blizzard's Lightning, a Chain Whirler, a Lightning Strike, an Experimental Frenzy, and a second land. I guess 2 lands is the only weakness I see in this hand. This is a powerhouse.
Yeah, and what do? Hope the mono red deck draws more spells?
You Thought Erasure the Mountain. No, you... It's really interesting, right? Depends what he can and can't deal with. He's going to take the Experimental Frenzy.
Yeah, the choice there was basically between the Frenzy and the Chain Whirler for the most part. Everything else you can at least try to deal with some sort of removal. Chain Whirler is the most punishing thing if you don't have removal.
For Watt, second Lava Runner. Right now, they're just 1/2s.
Give it about half a turn cycle.
Yeah, we have a Lightning Strike and Wizard's Lightning in the hand, so sounds about right.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And see Alex going to work upstairs, end of steps.
Smork faces the
Wizard's
place.
Lightning, yeah. Does he have the third land? Looks like he does not. Swings on in. And I was wondering if we'd see Lightning Strike upstairs.
This is a discipline play. This is patience.
Oh, remember, he does have the third land. Okay, Goblin Chain Whirler. Oliver down to 13.
Little less impressive, still a good play.
Still good. And Oliver with the Kaya's Wrath cleanup. That kind of shows why he took the Experimental Frenzy.
Yeah, all of a sudden, this game is not looking good. Tomajko still has 13 life. Wyatt only has like 6 points in his hand.
And here is Kasmina, an Enigmatic Mentor. Makes a 2/2 and loots for Oliver. You'll discard an extra land and keep developing. And Wizard's Lightning and Alex not going to bother with these Planeswalkers. He can let Oliver have all of them and send stuff upstairs.
Oh, no. And even then, Kasmina would tax the Wizard's Lightning if you wanted to point it at that
right.
Kasmina.
Yeah, you need 5.
You can't.
Another loot here from Oliver. And he'll start attacking. An illusion in, and now Kasmina is joined by Liliana Dreadhorde General, making a 2/2.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
All right, but Tomajko does not have much life to play with.
Nope, Oliver down to 7. Looking at his list, he does not have much in the way of life gain. He has 1 moment of craving. And that...
Yeah, good talk.
That is...
He has 2 Oath of Kaya.
He has 2 Dovin Hand of Control?
Yeah, he has the Dovins and he has Oath of Kayas. All right, speak of the devil.
And here is Oath of Kaya. That just goes upstairs. More importantly, it gains 3 life. And yeah, Alex cannot recover, so Tomajko takes game 1.
Yeah, that Kaya's Wrath was so brutal. That's the spot where a lot of these control decks are kind of leaning out of their sweepers in favor of things that are better at handling Planeswalkers. So some of the aggro decks are a little bit less used to having to play around those right now.
And I really like the setup from Tomajko, that Thought Erasure. Having, seeing a hand that was as scary as Alex's and just calmly figuring out your game plan and realizing that Experimental Frenzy was the card to beat. Really well done.
You know what? I almost wonder with how long he tanked on that, if that was posturing to make it look like he was going to have to 1-for-1 all of those, when in reality he knows. Because if you Thought Erasure and snap off the Experimental Frenzy and you're the red player, that tells you that these creatures aren't a problem. But if you're the Esper player, you look at the opponent's hand and you go, gosh, how am I going to beat all 3 of these creatures?
Yeah.
I guess I got to take Frenzy, though.
Yeah, I do like about Tomajko. We've seen with the Jeskai Super Friends deck, its lack of a true sweeper has come back to bite it a bit.
Oh, yeah. There's some of the games we've seen it lose are just like a Wild Growth Walker getting out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, and Oliver's not going to have any problems like that.
No, Kaya's Wrath is very strong. We haven't seen a 4 CMC conditioner or
sweeper?
Unconditional sweeper, excuse me, in a pretty long time.
It has been a while, yeah.
Settle the Wreckage is close.
I want to say Supreme Verdict was the last one we had before that, and that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, that was last time we were in Ravnica. That was.
I guess each time we go to Ravnica, we get them, but that's because they have crazy mana costs.
Supreme Verdict is Return to Ravnica. Kaya's Wrath is Return to Ravnica.
Yeah, it's just a recursive function.
Very excited to see what the, I guess, Boros. Oh, what would a Selesnya Wrath look like? Wrath make a couple 1/1s?
Well, that'd be like a Golgari Wrath, right?
Yeah. Well, but we already had the one with Convoke out of original
Hour of
Ravnica.
Reckoning, yeah, destroyed all non-tokens.
Solar Blaze is in this one, in War of the Spark, so I guess we just completed the cycle.
Well, the Convoke one is not actually, but it's only mono white.
That's true.
But it does have the watermark, so it could maybe count as a Celestia Wrath. I can see it.
No idea which sweeper to expect into Return to Ravnica 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And the Boros Sweeper, Bright Flame. Whew, that was a nice one. Gain huge amounts of life.
I love that card.
Game number 2. Watt is on the play here. He will start with Fanatical Firebrand. And so far in our top 8, we have had 3 2-0s. The higher seed, undefeated in games so far. It's been a clean sweep for and Oliver, the 3 seed, is keeping it going.
The play and draw is just so important with these Planeswalker decks. And then the other matchup is our Red Mirror, where all aggro all the time.
Matters. Yeah.
The classic post-combat Fanatical Firebrand.
Yeah, and a bit of a dagger here. We've seen this for Alex. It is a turn 2 light up the stage. Because it flipped Experimental Frenzy, it's just too big too soon. There's no way he's going to get that one back from exile. But what he can do is just continue to attack these Firebrands and makes Tybalt Rakish Instigator.
Tybalt has been impressive all weekend, turning off things like Lyra Dawnbringer, hurting the life gain side of Oath of Kaya because of how state-based effects interact.
Actually, this is interesting. Looking at Oliver's sideboard, he doesn't have anything like Lyra Dawnbringer. His big life gain card on sideboard is, I believe,
Enter the
God Eternals. Yeah, it's as a sorcery.
Also lines up fairly poorly against Tybalt. Uh-oh. No Thought Erasure to save you this time.
No, Oath of Kaya was the draw from Oliver, but it cannot gain life. It just removes Tybalt. And yeah, here is Experimental Frenzy. This is dangerous. Cry of the Carnarium will take care of everything, but as we oftentimes see, if against a control deck, if you can't remove the Experimental Frenzy, nothing else matters.
Yeah, this card is just going to be worth 3 to 5 cards a turn so frequently that you can't just grind through it.
Oliver down to 8. He'll make Teferi Time Raveler. Force Alex to pick up. Okay, the Experimental Frenzy and Thought Erasure is it, but there's 2. Alex has a second one. So given that, do you take the Lightning Strike?
I'd probably still take an Experimental Frenzy. The games that Tomajko wins are going to be ones where you end up answering both copies of the card, so this just gets the first one out of the way. The Lightning Strike's also going to end up stranded in Watt's hand.
Down to 6. Alex attacks the Planeswalker. That does mean 2 life is drained off the Oath of Kaya, though. And here is Dovin, Hand of Control.
That card's great against Experimental Frenzy. Just the sort of Thalia Prisoning effect, taxing all the spells that Watt tries to cast.
Artifact, instants, and sorcery spells cost Alex 1 more to cast. Also, Dovin is minusing on the Gitu Lava Runner, so it cannot deal damage. And Alex has had to take some turns off here as he figures out a way to get around it. Viashino Pyromancer is the play. 2 damage. We'll see where Alex sends it. Sends it at Dovin. Another Experimental Frenzy.
All right, Watt is never casting the spells in his hand.
Not for a while. Probably never. Yeah, against Esper, there's no worry about a card that sweeps up the enchantments. And it looks like Oliver off the top did not have any more spells, so he picks up the cards. And we get our first game 3 in these top 8.
Yeah, that's just not a realistic game to be winning.
Players re-looking at the sideboard. I think Alex is deciding if he wants to readjust his play draw sideboarding plan, and it looks like he will.
Yeah, curve is such a big concern whenever you're playing an aggressive strategy in this kind of thing. Knowing if you can afford to have something line up wrong on a turn versus lining up perfectly on a turn is a real heads-up type of thing that is kind of hard for some players who are newer to the tournament scene to grasp.
Tomajko will be back on the play here for our 3rd game. Yeah, the Experimental Frenzies, 4 of them in Alex Watt's list. They are the card that seem to matter here. I mentioned before, this is a great top 8 for Oliver if he can get through this matchup. The winner here will be playing Abe Corrigan, our 9-0 player from yesterday. He defeated teammate Kazu Negri in the third quarterfinal. And here we go for our third game. Fanatical Firebrand to start for Alex. And again, Oliver, nothing on turns 1 or 2. His deck really starts on 3 mana. Oath of Kaya shoots down the Direfleet Daredevil.
And this is kind of the recipe to keep Tomajko in, but this Tybalt coming down next turn is going to be rough.
Yeah, that Tybalt hanging out in exile, not on the battlefield just yet. And Oath of Kaya shoots down the tapped Fanatical Firebrand. Oliver wanting to convert that one before Alex cast Tybalt.
Yeah, absolutely. The life gain is pretty important, and if you're not planning to sweep up the Fanatical Firebrand, you might as well do it before it's dealt any more damage.
So I have a question. We saw a pause there from Alex when he had that turn with Oliver tapped. Does that read to you like there might be Experimental Frenzy in his hand? Or perhaps Chandra?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely something that you want to tank on there, because you go, well, is this going to be, do I care more about the card advantage or the mana advantage?
His hand is 3 Experimental Frenzies. And Oliver's missing land drops. This is getting really bad for Tomajko. 6 lands, it's an easy Experimental Frenzy for Watt. Swings for 2, Oliver to 20, Viashino Pyromancer, Oliver to 18, and this is some cleanup here by the mono red deck.
Okay, a land from Tomajko could put him back into this.
Yeah, it's so hard, right? Alex's hand is just another Frenzy. So, is that Ixalan's Binding?
Binding!
That is a nice Ixalan's Binding. Yes, he has more of them in his hand. Oliver down to 14. That is the perfect answer here. Yeah, a 1-of out of Oliver's sideboard. Here's Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. It tucks away the Chandra.
Okay, and that's good. Chandra was about to ultimate.
So end step Lightning Strike by Alex. Oliver's to 9. Now the question is can Oliver stay alive here? It's a Gitu or Fanatical Firebrand. It's a swing for 5. He'll make it 4 so he can take care of the Teferi. But that Tybalt's still in play. Oliver's at 5. He can't gain life. Things are still tough here. Remember, Alex will redraw that Chandra not next turn, but the turn after?
Yes. Something like Enter the God Eternals would be pretty nice here. If he could just mill the Chandra.
Right. Kaya's Wrath. And here's Viashino Pyromancer. Oliver's down to 1. Can he stay alive? The next card off the top for Alex is Chandra. It's going to be difficult here. Oliver's done a heck of a job staying in it, but maybe just needs a few more life points to play with.
This is so close.
Enter the God Eternals, but it can't gain life. It amasses for 4.
And
Alex passes. He drew Chandra, right?
No, it got milled by Enter the God Eternals.
Oh,
That's why that card is so important.
He attacks down to Tybalt. Hold on. Is there a life gain card? Can he? It is. This is great. Okay, it's Teferi, bounces Oath of Kaya, just casts it, deals 3 to gain 3. Oliver goes back up to 4. Alex misses the land on the draw, just draws a land. Oliver starting to take control of the game. He hung on at 1. This looked all but lost. And Kazmina is the play. Makes a 2-2.
Okay.
Draw and discard. Draws Spell Pierce. Well, that's not really too many lands for that. But he'll attack. Alex is down to 11. Draws again. It's another land. Did he draw Burn Spell? No. And Oliver, another 2-2. He gets to loot. He only needs 1 more turn after this one. This is an attack for 6. Alex is down to 5. Teferi goes up. Another Teferi bounces Oath of Kaya, casts Oath of Kaya again, Oliver to 7, Alex down to 2, and the comeback is complete. Oliver Tomajko stabilizing at 1, picks up the win here to go on.